Hello, here's my review of the Busse Battle Mistress. So as you can see here, this knife is a pretty big chopper. The knife has a 10-inch blade. It's 1/4 inch thick and it's made out of SR 101 steel. I think it's 5200 with a proprietary heat treatment by Busse. So I've been using this knife for a while and it performed extremely well. So I don't see a lot of reviews of Busse knives, probably because they're pretty hard to get. Usually they do limited runs and sell them on blade forums, and it's tough to get them. But you know what's nice about this one is that it's available on their website, so you could buy it right away. Only problem with these knives is that they're pretty expensive. I don't recall the exact price of this, and they don't even come with a sheath, so that's something you have to keep in mind. You gotta buy your own sheath or make your own sheath. So initially this knife was coated, and the coating they put on knives is pretty awesome. It lasted for a long time, but it wore down, so I just stripped it off, and you know, the finish under it is not so bad actually. It's pretty functional for, you know, a user grade type of knife. So the knife comes with some pretty nice hand-shaped micarta handles. So what's nice about this is that they put some 3D texturing there, so the grip is very secure. And you got some lanyard tubes here, and here, and some lanyard hole here. So there's lots of options to put basically a paracord lanyard. I think it's a must for such a big chopper. You don't want to, you know, to lose it while you're chopping. But I have to say that the grip is very secure. You can choke up close or even closer if you want to do some detailed work. There's a very nice choil, very functional. There's no risk of cutting yourself. Or you can move back here and actually have a pistol grip type of grip and use it for chopping, and it works extremely well that way. I have to say that this steel stays sharp for quite a long time. I just resharpened it once. I just strop it and just keeps on going for a long time. So honestly, I think it's a great choice for such a big chopper. So let's test it out. So let's try chopping some of those limbs. So often, you know, when there's a downed tree, you want to cut the limbs, use them as kindling to start your fire. So let's see how it does here. So just a couple of whacks on this big limb. You can see it goes really deep. No problem. On those small ones, just one hit and no problem. So as you can see, it cuts very well. Never had any dings or edge problems with this knife. Oh. So let's see how good it is at chopping. It's a pretty big, I think it's balsam fir. So let's go. So as you can see, this knife is pretty beefy, as I said, 1/4 inch, and the tip is pretty sturdy, so it should have no problem going through some wood. Let's test it out. pretty tough. Alright, so let's see how good it is at batoning. I got a pretty sturdy piece of red oak here with lots of knots. So let's see how it does. No problem. Really goes through like butter. I think it's the geometry. It's a pretty thick blade, saber grind, so it does separate the wood fibers very well. So it's a pretty big blade, but because of that choil, you can really choke up and work on those feather sticks. And for its size, it's pretty decent actually. I mean, it's a pretty good, pretty sharp blade, so it does the feather sticks pretty well. So for a big blade, it does some pretty fine curls. And you know, I didn't sharpen this blade in quite a while. I stropped it, you know, maybe a few weeks back. Still sharp. I use it a lot to baton wood, you know, split some stuff to make fire. So I think that this steel has some pretty good edge holding capacity for sure. I mean, definitely this is an excellent big chopper. Really robust, very sturdy knife. Only drawback I see is that it's kind of expensive, but you know, these Busse knives are never cheap, and they keep their value pretty well. So if you don't like it, you can always sell it for, you know, a pretty good price. So definitely not a blade for everybody, but I'm very happy with it because I don't know, I like the design. It's very sturdy, and I know it's gonna last forever. So that's something cool. So one thing that's great about the company Busse is that they have a pretty much bomb-proof warranty. So if ever you break that knife, you just ship it back to them and they'll give you a new one, no questions asked. So of course the price of these knives is pretty high, but at least you know that if you were ever to break it, you get a new one, or I think they give you credit for it and you can buy another model. So that's pretty cool. So in conclusion, what can we say about that knife? So I've had it for, you know, roughly a year now. I've been using it a lot, mostly to, you know, chop fallen trees on trails, stuff like that. Also batoning wood, you know, splitting wood for fires. So for those tasks, it works extremely well. Now the only drawback I can see is the price of this knife. When I got it a while back, it was I think 350 bucks. So pretty expensive, and that's I think just the baseline model. You can get extras like fancy handles for more. The price might have gone up since. So it's one of my most expensive knives. So definitely not a knife for everybody, but you know, at least you know it's bomb proof, that it'll last forever. Super tough, and there's a bonus that, you know, Busse has an excellent warranty. So if you were ever to break it, they would replace it, no questions asked. So that's pretty cool.